So I had to restart this video twice because of an airplane flying overhead, but I think that's kind of fitting because the advice that I want to give today, if you're thinking about starting a digital nomad journey, is advice I got from someone else when I was first starting out, which is to just book the flight. Everything changes once you book the flight, once you decide that you're going to do this, and once you commit to doing it by buying the flight. And it does not have to be tomorrow, right? Or next week or next month. Last time I checked, I think Google Flights lets you book out at least a year, maybe a year and a half. So even if it's booking a flight for a year from now, I promise you that things change and things will move for you on your journey. Like our brains, I feel like they like a challenge. They like figuring things out. They like solving problems. And once you've booked that flight, it splits your life really up into while I still live here and after the date, when I live in the new place. And it was definitely like that for me. My friend gave me that advice, and I booked my flight on June 8th of 2018, and I left on December 8th, 2018. So 6 months. I went home. I was a one-way ticket, booked it, and while it was scary, it was also very peaceful. I was no longer thinking about, "Am I going to do this?" It was, "Okay, I'm doing this." Like, I knew that there was always that safety net, right, of I can change the flight if I want to, or I can but I'm kinda cheap, and I don't like to, pay extra for changing a flight, so it was just, "I'm going. I have my departure date. I'm leaving now on this date." And so when people would ask me to do stuff, "Hey, we're doing this for, whatever in October." "Okay, cool, I'll still be here." "Oh, we're doing this in November." It's getting pretty close to when I'm leaving. I'll let you know. I'm gonna be very busy with stuff." "Oh, what are you doing for your birthday?" "I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be in Colombia. I'm leaving." And it was very you get to work backward then from the date that you have picked. Once you've chosen a date and place and you've booked the flight, you then everything else is figure outable, right? You work backward. So once I had my flight, I chose to go to Medellin, Colombia, and start there. It was like, "Okay, well, I need a place to live, so I'm gonna look for a place to live. I wanna learn Spanish, so I'm gonna look for a Spanish school and get a place to live close to the Spanish school so I can walk there because I won't have a car," and all these, different things. Um, I need to bring my cat. When I first started traveling, I had my cat with me. And, I gotta find an airline that accepts pets, and I gotta figure out that, and I gotta figure out the requirements for taking her, and then I need to figure out, luggage and how I'm gonna deal with that. I left with 1 suitcase plus my cat as my carry-on, so I need to figure out how to fit my life in 1 suitcase, so all the downsizing that needs to be done. I need to figure out how to sell my car, but I don't wanna sell it early because I need to have a car up until the time I go, so I need to do that. And for me, my I had already started downsizing. I had a relationship end about 4 years prior, and I had moved out of that house and just ever since then lived in smaller and smaller spaces. Also, I did a cross country move from Florida to Las Vegas with only what could fit in my little yellow Toyota Yaris. So, I had downsized quite a bit, and it was still, though, getting rid of the rest of that stuff and downsizing it into a suitcase. But it was so helpful to just have the date, instead of there being, 1,000 different options for things to do, it just really narrowed things into, "Right, here we go. I've got this date. I've gotta go. I've got to get all the things figured out before then." And it just works. It flows. So if you're thinking about doing this, pick a date. It can be a year out. It can be a year and a half out. It can be a ways out into the future. But just giving your brain that solid date that we are doing this, we are going. Oh, it takes a weight off. It takes the maybe weight off. And you start to replace it with things that are exciting, scary, yes, sometimes unknown, yes, but it's just a different feeling. It's a kind of a fills you up excitement versus a dread. So if you're thinking about this lifestyle, just go and book your flight.